Your next witness, please, Mr. Lally.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Miss Katherine Camerano.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
Katherine Camerano, Camerano.
And where do you live?
Canton.
And how long have you lived in Canton?
Probably about since 2005, maybe 20 years. 2005, I think.
And who, if anyone, do you live in Canton with?
My husband, Michael, and my two children.
And how old are your children?
Right now, 13 and 16.
And starting with the 16-year-old, is that a boy or a girl?
Girl.
And the 13-year-old, is that a boy or a girl?
Boy.
And as far as activities are concerned with your kids, do they play sports or do they do other sorts of activities?
They play sports. Yep.
And which sports does your 16-year-old daughter play?
Currently, right now, softball.
And has she played any other sports in the past?
She played soccer. She played hockey for a little bit, but mostly soccer and softball.
And your 13-year-old son, what, if any, sports
Hockey,
player does he play?
hockey and baseball.
Now, do you work, ma'am?
I do.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a nurse.
And how long have you been working as a nurse?
21 years.
And your husband, does he work?
He does.
And what does he do for work?
He's a laborer.
And how long has he been doing that?
Probably 25, maybe even 30 years, actually.
And how long have the two of you been together?
Married,
Married.
20 years? 20 years, 2004.
Now, ma'am, if I could turn your attention to January 28th, 2022 into January 29th, 2022. Do you recall those couple days?
Yeah.
And do you recall what days of the week they were?
It was Friday into Saturday night.
And starting with the Friday of the 28th, were you working that day?
I was working that night.
Okay. And sort of typically what kind of shift you work as
I work 7P to 7A, nights, mostly weekends.
the weekends would be sort of typically when you'd be at work?
Yes.
And around this time of January 2022, when you were at work, do you know what sort of your husband and your children would be doing typically on like a Friday night?
Friday night, they went to Johnny's house a lot, and the kids hung out, and they all just hung out together on a Friday night.
Now, starting with Johnny, who you refer to, you mean John O'Keefe, is that correct?
Yes.
How is it that you came to know John O'Keefe?
My husband got introduced to him, and then the girls started hanging out probably 2018, fourth grade. The boys around the same time when he moved to Meadows, probably around that time.
And so Mr. O'Keefe, he had a niece and a nephew of who he was a guardian, is that correct?
Correct.
And he had a niece named Kaylee and a nephew named Patrick, correct?
Correct.
And they lived with him, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, with regard to his niece Kaylee and your daughter, how did they know each other?
They first met on the soccer team, probably soccer. Yes, they met soccer fourth grade. Or was it it could have been basketball. She played basketball when she was that little, Madeline. Basketball team, fourth or fifth grade. And then quickly by the fifth, sixth grade, they were like best friends attached at the hip.
And as far as Mr. O'Keefe's nephew Patrick, in relation to your son, were they the same age as well?
They were. They played baseball together.
And outside of baseball, were they friendly as well?
Yes.
And so a typical Friday night would be you were at work and your husband and the kids would go over to Mr. O'Keefe's house.
Correct.
You knew where Mr. O'Keefe's house was?
Yes.
And where was that?
On Meadows Ave.
And about how far away from your house was Mr. O'Keefe's house on One Meadows Ave?
Maybe 2 miles, maybe. I don't know.
So fairly short distance?
Yes.
Now, with regard to This specific Friday night, January 28th, you were at work, and do you know what sort of the plan was with reference to the rest of your family?
Michael, my son was going to play with a friend of his, a school play in the town, and Michael was going to Johnny's with Madeline, my daughter, and they were gonna hang out there for the night, and Michael and Johnny were gonna potentially go out.
Now, with reference to your daughter and Mr. O'Keefe's niece, Kaylee, what, if anything, around, specifically to that day, what, if anything, was sort of going on with them and their school?
They had just got into Bishop Vian High School that day.
And at this time in January 2022, what grade were they in then?
They were in 8th, they were going into 9th that September.
And so they had been accepted to this private school, Bishop Vian, and got their acceptance letters that day?
Yep.
And what, if any, conversation do you recall having with Mr. O'Keefe in reference to that on that day?
They were just really excited about it. Everyone was really excited that they just got in.
Now, at some point, well, beyond sort of, if you could just sort of describe the nature of your relationship, and by you, I'm using it plural, as far as you and your husband, with regard to Mr. O'Keefe.
He was our friend. He was really good to me and my kids.
And as far as the kids were concerned, what, if any, sort of interplay did you have with regard to his kids and he have with regard to you?
I worked weekends and he would take my kids to sporting. I would do a lot of the stuff during the week if I was around the practices. And him and my husband would always do the games. The kids used to call them my two dads. It was like they had a lot of fun together. It was like a well-oiled machine.
Now, through your friendship with Mr. O'Keefe, at some point did you come to know someone by the name of Karen Reed?
Yes.
And who was Karen Reed in relation to Mr. O'Keefe?
She was his girlfriend.
And just to be clear, when we're talking about Karen Reed, do you see Ms. Reed in the courtroom
I
today?
do.
Could you just identify as to where she's seated or an article?
Yeah, she's right there.
No, just ask the record to reflect identification of the defendant by the witness.
Yes.
Now, with regard to the defendant, Ms. Reed, prior to this date of January 28th, 2022, about how long had you known her?
Whenever they started dating, probably 2 years. During COVID. When was COVID? Probably 2 years.
So
Right.
sometime during the COVID pandemic, you met her?
Yeah, yep.
And as far as you were aware, did she live with Mr. O'Keefe and the children, or did she have somewhere else to live?
No, she had a house in Mansfield, but she stayed at Meadows a lot.
And so during the course around this time of January 2022, general time, about how often would you see Mr. O'Keefe?
Probably 3 days a week, I would say.
And sort of typically when you would see him, would that be sort of at a game or at his house, your house?
Anything, drop off, pick up, his house, games, anything.
Now, as far as Mr. O'Keefe and Ms. Reed were concerned with regard to you and your husband, what, if any, socialization did you have sort of outside of the kids?
Yeah, we went out to eat. We went to a comedy show. I would socialize with them.
About how often would you do that?
The kids were around mostly, but maybe a few times. I feel like the kids were usually always around.
Now, at some point, did you become aware that your husband and Mr. O'Keefe had gone out that evening?
Yes.
And how did you become aware of that?
I don't know, either Michael told me or my daughter told me. One of them told me. I forget who.
And do you know where your husband went that night?
I don't remember if he told me exactly where he went.
And at some point, you're still at work, you're working an overnight, is that correct?
Yes.
And the rest of your family, being your husband and your kids, they came home at some point?
They did.
And how do you know sort of when or how they came home?
I have an alarm on my house, so I know when somebody opens the door, I can check at work and it alerts me if the door's open, if the alarm is on, off, who puts it on, who puts it off, what doors are open, when the alarm is rearmed. And I usually don't allow sleepovers, and even if I did, my husband would have called me at work.
So fair to say there's a rule within your house that sleepovers don't happen unless you approve?
Yeah.
Now, at some point, I'm going to turn your attention now to the morning of the 29th. At some point, while you were at work, did you receive a call from someone?
Yes.
And who, if anyone, called?
Karen.
And about what time was that?
Probably between 4 and 5.
And what, if anything, did the defendant say to you when she called you around 4 or 5 in the morning?
She was just screaming, "Where's Mike? Where's Mike?"
And was that a typical sort of situation that you would get a call from the defendant at that time?
No, not at all.
And the screaming that you heard, or the phraseology of "where's Mike," is that something she said once or more than once or something else?
She just kept saying it. She just kept saying, "Where's Mike?"
And what, if anything, did you say in response to that?
I was just like, hold on, calm down. And as I was doing it, I was rechecking like the alarm. I said, he's home with the kids. Let me call him. And at some point I hung up. I called my husband, like, I don't know, probably, it felt like 100 times.
Now, you're at work and when you get this call, is that right? Mm-hmm. And do you recall sort of where you were, what you were doing when you got the call?
I was getting ready to draw like morning labs, so I knew it was between like 4 and 5 a.m. Somewhere early
As far
morning.
as this sort of screaming, as far as "where's Mike," what, if anything, did the defendant indicate as to why she was asking?
John didn't come home.
And from your knowledge of John O'Keefe, was that something that was normal or no?
No.
Now, during this sort of initial call with the defendant, what, if anything, did you hear sort of in the background of that call?
That first call?
Yes.
I don't think I heard anything in that.
Your memory exhausted as to that?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
May I approach you with this?
Yes.
And, ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a document before you. I'm going to direct your attention to this second paragraph on the page. If you could just read that to yourself.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if that was the,
Anything further, may I approach
Yep.
this retrieve, John?
Yes.
oh, yeah, sorry.
And so, Ms. Camerano, after reading what I just placed before you, is your memory refreshed as to what, if anything, you heard in the background of that
Yeah.
initial call?
I could hear Kaylee in the background.
And you hang up on that call, and then what did you do?
Call Michael. And
At any point when you're calling Michael, I think you said you felt like it was about 100 times, did your husband Michael answer the phone?
he
at
never
any point?
answered. No.
And so after you called your husband, many times he didn't answer, what did you do then?
I called either Karen's phone or Kaylee's phone back. I texted John, I think, twice. And then I could, whoever's phone I called, I could hear Jen in the background, that someone had called Jen too.
So you were speaking on the phone with either the defendant or Kaylee, correct?
Yep,
And you could hear someone named Jen in the background?
yep, I could hear her in the background.
And when you say you could hear someone,
Like it sounded, sorry,
no, so just as far as Jen, who is that?
Jen McCabe. She was one of Madeline's basketball coaches, so I know her voice.
Heard her sort of voice on the sideline?
Yeah, yep.
And did you know her personally at all?
I knew her as Madeline's coach.
And at some point you were talking to Kaylee on the phone, correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you were saying to Kaylee at that time?
I was just saying to her, is everybody okay? And she said they're gonna go out looking for him. I think she said they were gonna go out looking, or she's gonna go out, no one knows where he is. And then I think I like hung up with her. And then at some point I maybe texted Kaylee or called, and I said, is Karen out alone? And she said, no, she's with Jen and Kerry. So I said, okay, as long as they're not alone.
Now, the second phone call, you're talking to Kaylee and you can hear the defendant talking to Ms. McCabe, is that correct?
Yes.
And you hear one side of the conversation or both sides of the conversation?
I don't really recall exactly. I felt like it was just like a lot of like screaming, like he's not home. I don't really recall 100%.
But as far as the screaming that you heard that he's not home, do you recall whose voice that was that you heard saying that?
It was Karen.
And beyond that, as far as the conversation that you overheard, what, if anything, specific about that conversation, in addition to that, do you recall?
I don't.
And while these phone calls are going on, again, you're at work, correct?
Correct.
So what is it that you're doing sort of in relation to your job while these phone calls are going back?
I'm trying to like, in between, draw labs for my patients, and then I'm like going in the back room, texting or calling, and then I'd go back out to the desk, out to the patients.
You mentioned that the defendant was sort of screaming when she was talking to you on the phone, and you heard her in the background when you were talking to Kaylee.
Yep.
Could you describe sort of, or how would you describe sort of her, and by her I mean the defendant's demeanor while you heard her on the phone?
She was just like frantically screaming. Just screaming. Where's Mike?
Now, during this time, you're working, you're dealing with patients, and you're going back and forth
Yeah.
between patients and the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to speaking on the phone with the defendant and then with Kaylee, who, if anyone else, did you reach out to or did you talk to that morning?
I talked to Carrie Roberts in the morning at some point. I don't know if I called her, she called me, and she said that I think that he was going to the hospital, and then I called my husband and told him that Kaylee was home alone and that he should go get her because she was at the house alone.
Is it your understanding that your husband, Michael, then went to Meadows to pick up Kaylee?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes, ma'am?
Yes, sorry.
Now, you mentioned that at some point you spoke to Kerry Roberts, is that correct?
Yes.
How do you know Kerry Roberts?
I've known her since high school.
And as far as you grew up in the same town, is that correct?
No, I was friends with her cousin. so I had known her. And I've always known her. I've been friends with her for a while.
Just one moment, John.
Sure.
May I approach the witness, John?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 48. And before I do that, I just need to show counsel what I'm showing you. May I approach him?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 48, specifically on page 22. With respect to that box, white box sort of towards the top of the page, you see a listing as sort of participants of that conversation.
Yes,
That's a text conversation.
yes.
And who is sort of listed as the participants within that conversation?
Katie Camerano and JJ.
And is JJ another sort of name or nickname for John O'Keefe?
Yep,
And the content, there's two blue bubbles on the bottom of that page, is that correct?
correct.
And do you recognize the content of those bubbles?
Yes.
And what do you recognize those to be?
My text messages to him.
Those are text messages you just testified about as far as sending to John that morning.
Correct.
And both of them are from you with no response from Mr. O'Keefe.
Correct.
And about what time are the two text messages sent to Mr. O'Keefe according to that document?
5:10.
May I approach this to retrieve, Your Honor?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Camerano, you had mentioned in your testimony that you had some phone calls or conversations with Ms. Reed on the morning of January 29th, correct?
Correct.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
Showing you another document, ma'am. Just ask that you look at that and look up when you're finished.
Yep.
And that document, do those seem to reflect the calls that you have between yourself and the defendant, Ms. Reed, on that morning of the 29th?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach briefly?
Sure. Could I please see that? Ms. Camerano.
Thank you.
And so, Ms. Camerano, from that document, does that seem to be the phone calls and the timing of the phone calls between yourself and Ms. Reed that morning?
Okay. Yes.
May I approach again, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll open seat introduce in a minute the next exhibit.
Any objection, Mr. Jackson?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Showing that to you, which has now been marked as Exhibit 51. Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would request to publish that to the jury on the screen.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Cameron.
Thank you, Madam Court Reporter.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Gilman, if you could please just see if you could enlarge that just a little bit.
Mr. Lally, keep your voice up and step aside so all jurors could see this, please.
Yes. Just before we get to what's up on the screen, is that what you have before you as Exhibit 51?
Yes.
No, Ms. Camerano, starting from sort of as far as the order of these, do you see sort of to and from and sort of date times on there?
Yes.
And does it appear as if the earlier times are sorted towards the bottom and then it goes on in time and chronology towards the top?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll to sort of the bottom of the box. Now, with reference to essentially there are 6 boxes, am I correct in that?
Correct.
And with regard to box 6, if you could just tell the jury sort of,
It says 1/29/2022, 4:49 a.m. to Katie Camerano, answered 2 minutes and 51 seconds.
and the box above that, number 5.
From, it looks like I called her at 4:56 on 1/29 for 2 minutes and 57 seconds, answered.
And the box above that, number 4, please.
I called her 5 a.m., 2 minutes and 4 seconds, answered. And then I called her again at 5:32 for 8 seconds. That was answered. And then I called her again at 5:34, was missed. At 5:34 was missed. And then I called her again at 6:44 and 49 seconds, and that was not answered.
Thank you. May I approach just to retrieve, Your Honor?
Yes.
You can take that down.
Thank you.
Now, with respect, Ms. Camerano, is your testimony that in addition to the phone calls that you had with the defendant, you also had some texts back and forth that morning as well?
Correct.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Ms. Camerano, showing you a document, asking if you could just take a look at that and look up when you're finished.
Yep.
And do you recognize what what's in that document?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
It's my text to Karen.
And with respect to the sort of first page of that, does is there also, similar to the ones I showed you with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, is there a listing as far as the participants in that conversation?
Yes.
And who does it state?
It's Karen Reed and Katie Camerano.
May I approach again?
Yes.
I'll multi-seat to introduce in a minute the next exhibit.
No objection, Mr. Jackson?
No objection, Your
All
Honor.
right, then.
Ms. Camerano, returning what's now been marked as Exhibit 52 to you. And Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would seek to publish this on the screen for the jury as well.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Camerano, if I could direct your attention to sort of the content of this, there's blue bubbles and green bubbles, is that correct?
Correct.
And is there an indication on there as far as who the message is from and who the message is to?
The blue bubbles would be me texting Karen.
And if you could, starting with the first bubble on page 1, if you could just describe to the jury, and we'll sort of go through it, as far as who the text is from and what the content is.
That's from me. I'm asking Karen, are you okay?
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down. And this next bubble.
Go back home so you're safe with Kaylee. He will end up home. I bet he's on someone's couch.
And the next bubble down, Ms. Gilman.
What's going on, Karen?
And if you could scroll down a little further, Ms. Gilman.
I'm driving around with Kerry and Jen.
And this is the text that you received
From-
Ms. Reed to yourself.
Yes.
And is there a time on that associated with when that text was sent?
I can't read that from there. 5:53, does it say?
5:53 a.m., is that correct?
Oh, 5:53, yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down to the next message.
Okay, is one of them driving?
And just to be clear, this is you texting Ms.
I'm
Reed.
I'm texting Karen, yes. Is one of them driving? And then,
And why were you texting that, or why were you concerned about that?
because she was so hysterical, I didn't want her driving.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down to the next message. And what, if any, response did you receive from Ms. Reed?
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could, scroll down to the next.
And I said, okay, keep me posted.
Gilman, if you could, scroll down.
At his brother's or mom's, ? Or the station he works at.
Both of those messages, about what time were those?
6 a.m.
And what, if any, if Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down, and then what, if any, response did you receive from the defendant, Ms. Reed, following those texts?
I don't think so. His bro is in West Bridgewater, W. Bridgewater.
Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down again. The next message, ma'am.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm just brainstorming.
And the next green bubble, ma'am.
It's okay.
And the blue bubble below that.
Any luck?
And that was a text you sent at approximately what time, ma'am?
6:34.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down to the next one. And what was Ms.
Then-
Reed's response?
He's dead.
And again, at what time did you receive that text message from Ms.
6:34.
Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down again.
What, Karen, are you serious?
That's a blue bubble, your response to her last statement.
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you can scroll down again.
And then Karen, do you have any idea where he is, or did you find him?
Lastly, Ms. Gilman, if you could scroll down one more time.
He was in the snow.
That last message that you received, what time was that?
That was at 6:36.
Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. And Mr. Officer, if you could put the lights back. Thank you. Now, following that text message, the last one about 6:34 a.m., what, if any, other communication did you have with the defendant that morning?
Nothing.
What, if any, other communication did you have with the defendant since then?
None.
Now, as far as any of the other people that you spoke of, as far as talking to that morning, Ms. Roberts or Kaylee, did you have any further conversation with them in regard to what was going on?
No.
If I may have just one moment, Your Honor. Nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination?
Hello, Mrs. Camerano.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. To Mr. Lally last point, after that series of text messages that you had early in the morning on January 29th, 2022, you said you didn't hear from Miss Reed or didn't have any communication with her after that. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you reach out to her text message wise?
No.
Okay. Were you aware that her phone had been seized shortly thereafter from her?
No.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Ms. Camerano. Oh, there's nothing else, Mr. Lally, right? All right, Ms. Camerano, you're all set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.